All right. Oh, as soon as I talk, I find my voice is a little croaky. It says we're live, and I'm going to give it just a minute or two. And it looks like there we go. It went live this time. Usually there's a little more of a delay. So, well, hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are at. For me, it's kind of late morning. I don't know if you can see the window behind me it's super duper sunny. I actually had to close most of my blinds so that my desk isn't all like way washed out in the sun. So I'm just kind of enjoying it on, it's kind of hitting the back of my shoulders there and my legs a little. So hopefully I don't end up getting too hot with the sun out like that. So I hope everyone is having a great week. I'm excited to craft along with you here today using some of the newest release. Um, I kind of played with a little bit of a different arrangement, and I'm really excited about um, just the card I'm making today. It's kind of something I haven't done exactly like this before, and it just kind of sounded fun. It looks like it's going to work really well. So um, I'm really hoping that it comes out as good as my mind is picturing. So I'm excited to share that all with you. Give a few minutes here while everybody starts to filter in and find us. Just go over a couple of the usual things we do for lives. If you are new here, some of this will be new information. If you're an old hand, then you know most of this. So you can just enjoy chatting. But first of all, if you are new, we absolutely love if you pop into the chat and just let us know that this is your first time joining us live so we can welcome you. Sometimes I miss those comments once I start crafting, just because I'm trying to kind of multitask. So I'm going to say hello now. If I see anybody pop in before I get started and turn my camera around, then I can say that. But otherwise, just so I don't miss anybody, welcome. And we're super glad that you're here with us. We give away a $15 gift card for each of these lives. If you see the Pinkfresh Studio name, that's my partner in crime, Leah Lawson. She's behind that today. She'll be chatting in the comments. If I miss any questions, comments, she does a great job of catching those. So feel free to address those to her. Sometimes I just kind of can't stop in the middle of what I'm doing and answer, or it's just better to answer that in the chat. If both of us miss it for some reason, just leave it again. Sometimes the comments, like right now, the comments are flying pretty good. So there's a good chance that I might miss some of those along the way. But I promise we're not ignoring you. We just might miss those sometimes. But Leah will pick that $15 gift card winner at the end of the live. The way that you enter to win that is just what y'all are doing already. Just chat in the comments there. You can ask a question to somebody. If you see a question that you know you can answer, just enjoy visiting and having fun in the chat. We like the community that these lives bring. Another way that you can enter to win is by sharing this video. That just kind of helps get the word out more for us. You can share that on your own social media. You can message a crafty friend if you know that they might enjoy it. If you're part of a crafty group and you know it's allowed in the rules, you can share this link there. And then pop back and do, just like I see there that Susie and Louise just did, leave us another little comment saying that you shared, so we know that you shared, and that will count as another entry into the giveaway. And then one final thing that we really love and appreciate is if you hit that thumbs up button. It's not an entry to the giveaway. It just kind of helps the reach, helps more people find us, both on the live and the replay, and kind of grows our little community here. Finally, everything I'm using today is released. I'm using a mix of our latest release and then some from sometime last year. I don't remember what time, but it's all linked in the video description, minus the bling, whatever, we have to put bling on there. And I didn't end up picking what I was going to use yet. So that I'll add an update later, but all of the basic supplies from Pinkfresh that I'm using are all linked in there. So if you have any questions or you're wondering, feel free to check that out and you can easily find those. Otherwise, I try and show them pretty well as I'm going. Oh, which just reminded me, I forgot to turn my hot foil machine back on. I did preheat it, but I turned it off so it wouldn't auto shut off, and I meant to turn it on right when I went live. So I just clicked that on. So hopefully that'll get ready quickly. In the meantime, I think we've covered everything that we needed to do. Just checking real quick to make sure I didn't miss any comments, but I think I'm going to go ahead and switch this camera around and go ahead and get started. All right, so there's my hot foil machine doing its slow little heat up. I'm going to slide that over so you guys can see that light that I'm waiting to light up here. We are going to use the Beautiful Day set from the newest release. It's got these beautiful folk inspired elements. It's one big floral element and then one little extra to kind of tuck in a different spot. Um, I have hot foiled and stenciled, but I never did get it onto a finished card. So I don't actually have a finished card with this set yet. So I'm really excited to get one created and finished and put it all together. So this is kind of going to be fun for me. So I've also kind of mixed some of our newer and older ink colors as well. And I see I was going to mention at the end, but since I'm waiting for this to preheat anyway, this is a great time to mention that. If you enjoy these lives like we do weekly where we craft along with you, she just put a link in there. If you want to craft in a Zoom meeting with Leah and I, if you haven't joined those before, our monthly one of those is this coming Friday. We open registration early with a discount on the bundle, and then we reopen it just the week of for anyone who just wants to join that might already either have the supplies or just want to use what they already have. You can use, even if you don't use Pinkfresh, we'd love to see you use those, but you can use whatever you have in your stash that looks like it'll work. So if you just want to join and enjoy the crafting and the community, then we would love to do that. It's a very budget friendly. We just wanted to offer something else, and it's a little more personal because it's a smaller group. So you have the option to be on camera, to chat with us, to ask any questions. We get to see your cards when you finished, and we love that two-sided option to it as well. So there's a link there. There's also a link in the video description if you feel like joining us last minute. That will stay open through Friday morning, I believe. I don't remember exactly when. But you get the PDF right away. You can see the cards. There's very minimal homework, but you can get that done if you want and be ready to join us. Diane, if you mean the set that I'm using today, this is called Beautiful Day. And I'm going to use the hot foil plate. There is a coordinating stamp set if you prefer to use that. Okay, and Leah just answered. So if you meant for Craft Along, it's Poppy Mix is the set we're using for that, which is one of our kind of background stencil and stamp sets. So this is still finishing heating, but I'm just going to go ahead and pop this on here now so that it can just start preheating a little bit. I'm going to pull out, I think I'm going to use the stamp set later, but I might have another option for the sentiment. So I'm not 100% on that yet. So we'll see what happens when we get to that spot. But I'm going to have these kind of set off aside and ready. There it is. I knew it'd be ready any minute. Platform's ready. So let's get that timer on. I'm using polished brass. It's just kind of a slightly warmer gold tone, and it felt like it fit what I wanted to use today. I've got a panel of cardstock all cut and ready. So as soon as that timer goes off, we'll get this hot foiled. And then we can move along and get this finished. Oops, nope, I don't need that. All right. Oh, Lee Murphy, I'm glad that she didn't have the poppy mix, so she was glad to order that bundle. That's awesome. Oh, okay, hold on. Ooh, I clicked in as I was pulling my die cut machine up, I bumped a button that almost started to close my Zoom session, and that would have killed this live. So I'm really glad that I caught that and didn't bump that again. So popped up and said, "Do you want to end?" No, I do not want to end. All right. And that timer, it doesn't take there it is. I knew any second it would be ready. All right, I'm going to pull my die cut machine over here, squeeze everything in onto my limited desk space, pop this loose from the machine. And then we're going to put our foil down over the top, our cardstock, and those two shims on the top of that. And let's run this through that machine here. Been a while since I did hot foiling in a live, I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong, but it definitely feels like it's been a minute or two. Pop this out of the way since it's an unlimited desk space today. Oop, and that's just gonna pop right off so easy. I didn't even have to didn't get that reveal moment because it just kind of popped off. I'm not gonna do the reverse foiling today. I'll save that and do that on another day. I just saw, oh, thank you, Lee. And then Mom Full of Joy, we talked her into trying foiling. And the rose gold is beautiful. Another favorite is blush. It's kind of like a softer rose gold. So definitely one that we both love. All right, I will save this piece of foil. I'll reverse foil this later with the solid hot foil plate, but I didn't want to add that extra time because we've got quite a few things to do today on our cards. So I'm just going to set that aside. I'll be right back. I suddenly have a lot more desk space because, or craft room space. My craft room up until just a couple of months ago has been shared with my daughters. It was homeschooled. They're both in college, on their second and third year of college, and finally just realized they really weren't using their desks in here anymore. So we moved them out, moved them to a different spot, and now I have the whole room to myself, and I'm adding more storage and really able to spread out, and it's kind of nice. All right. So we're going to start just right at the beginning with stencil 1. I'm going to line that up over. So apparently that's going to be the greenery. So we're going to start with the greenery. Like I said, I'm using a mix of older colors and newer colors. Let me show you my color palette real quick. So we've got, these two are some of the new colors, Sunkissed and Mulberry Blush, and then Coral Reef and Tidal Pond. And Coral Reef and Mulberry Blush go really beautifully side by side. And then pulling back, of course, Sunkissed is one of my favorites. I feel like it's hard to make a card without. And then I decided to go with this really deep color of our older aqua tones to do the greenery. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out here. And we're going to do some good little bits of blending for gradation, because each of the layers of the stencil only have one layer. So you can just blend them all at once, but I'm not going to have separate layers. So I really like the idea of adding that gradation in there, just using that one color. All right, let's pull out our little blending brush for this. And I'm just gonna dab, this is a deep color and I definitely inked that up really well. So this should be pretty easy. I'm just gonna start by grabbing and going for a soft blend on here. As you can see there, there's plenty of ink to do that with. And then I'll come in and deepen it a little bit more, but this is a very deep color already. So I wanted to be really careful not to get too dark on here, because I want to keep this, I want that tone, but I don't want it super dark. So, and dabbing that little bit of ink off is going to help keep my blending from getting too crazy dark. It's going to keep that soft blend, keep it from getting too streaky or anything like that. And then I can still pick up that ink and use it, which part, and I could do that on my glass mat, or if you have other ways, but whenever the stencil has room, I've kind of just started really liking using that space that I have on the stencil to do that. Because then it's right there and handy and in a small space and easy to use. All right, continue on here, down here. So one of the things I love about ink blending and with stencils is if I was stamping this, the only option would be to get a really deep tone, just because this is a dark ink. But ink blend, or yeah, with ink blending with stencils like this, I can take that same really deep tone and I can get a really soft blend, but I still get that, the tone of that, but I don't have to have it be a really dark, bold color. I can still get a soft blend. And like I said, that's part to me of the magic of ink blending and layering stencils like this. I've also really learned lately, I feel like I didn't realize I had a really heavy touch with my brush. And I found that another way to get that soft blend really well is just to have a softer touch with your blending brush. Like you can always just keep blending over and get more color, but you can't take it off. So I'm just going to come in and just hit, now that I've got a little bit of gradation, but I've got a pretty soft blend. I'm going to come in and just hit the base of some of these leaves and really get that color gradation, the depth at the very centers of those. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to hold it up a little, so hopefully you can see. All right. Okay, I think that does it. I think I'm happy with that. All right, let's close. I'm going to wipe the excess off here a little bit, so hopefully it'll show up a little better. All right, and let me just kind of hold that up. Let's peel this off. And can you see kind of how at the base of those, you've got deeper color and it blends out to a softer blend. So pretty. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna keep these pieces of tape, put that aside, and we'll just move on here one color at a time. So line the next stencil up. This is stencil 2. Like I said, I'm just going, and these, honestly, you could do these in any order you please because there's nothing overlaying. So there's really absolutely no right or wrong on the blending of that. All right, I'm gonna put these brushes away and pull out the next color family of these. So we're gonna move on to Sunkissed for these flowers. And just like I did with the others, I'm gonna dab off the extra ink and keep a nice soft blend as I go around on these. Really focusing on the base of the flowers. This is a pretty, this is the lightest color in this color family, but these ink pads are really new and really juicy. So I find I still have to be kind of similar on my attempting for a soft blend, kind of like I was on that deeper color, just because there's so much more color at my disposal. So I'm keeping a really good, there we go, good gradated look there on these to make sure I get lots of contrast. A last little bloom down here. Tina said that she wouldn't have ever chosen Tidal Pond, but it's really pretty. Lee and I really love just grabbing unexpected color combos. I feel like it's one of our favorite things to do in these lives. Sometimes it works. I don't think there's been any that I really haven't loved. Sometimes it works better than others, but it's just kind of a fun way to stretch the look you can get from your supplies and also the supplies you have. All right, can you see? I hope you can see that gradation. I think it shows up pretty well on there. But let's peel that off, and now you can kind of see this image really coming together. Oh, have fun, Melissa. And Louise, right? I know the soft hand and building up the color, it makes such a big difference. I love it. All right, we're getting, these stencils have less to do on them, but we're gonna pull out an old friend, Coral Reef. I haven't used it as much lately. Oops. Oh, goodness. I managed to do that. Let me just throw things around on my desk here. Pull out my Coral Reef brush, and we'll do the same thing on this one. Blending in on one side and fading out to a softer look on the other side. And these, I'm not doing anything too scientific. I'm just kind of picking a side and that makes sense and is easy to blend. So I'm hitting it. These little ones, not going to worry too much about those, but we'll make a little bit of an effort. But I don't really want to pull out the little bitty brushes. So I'm okay if they don't have as much. Like I said, by default, they'll get a little tiny bit, but done on that one. You know, coral reef still kind of holds the special place in all of our hearts. There might be other new favorites, but nothing will ever replace coral reef. Okay. Look at how pretty that is. Okay, this is going to be the final, like the little final zing of color that I feel like just makes the whole thing pop. And because it's just such small areas, I picked a really deep, bold color, went all the way up to the darkest of our new Rose Garden ink family. One more, using 4 different color families and 4 different blending brush sets. So, all right, let's come in. This is going to hit the center of some flowers and all of these little ones. And I'm just popping that color in. I'm not worrying about gradation or keeping it light because I want these really to be bold and pop. So it's not going to take much to hit all these little areas, but I want them inked up well and kind of just doing their thing. I know there's something about the pink, the corally tones and the peachy tones that just are magic together. I love those, Leah. That's one of my favorite. And then adding in the aquas. In a lot of ways, this is a very Leah color combo, I feel like, but I feel like it's one of my favorites too. So I like lots of variety, but I do have certain favorites that if I was going to sit and look at, this would be one I would come back to a lot. All right, ready for that final reveal there of that last layer. Ta-da! Can you see how that last little bit pops so much on here? I love it. All right, and ignore this over here. This is just where the stencil fit. That's all going to be die cut off for sure and not a problem. So I will clean those later. I'm going to get those out of the way for now. And let's pull out our die and go ahead and get this lined up and die cut. And then we can move on with our card assembly. Excuse me, a little hiccup there. I'm going to take my time and just make sure that I get this lined up really well. Okay. All right, I will be right back. Should do beautifully good. My plates are getting pretty warped, so I wanted to make sure I didn't need to add anything else to help. Oh, thank you, everybody. The one piece size. I know Lee and I joke because we are so lazy now that when we use if we use anything else, we're always like, oof, we have to like find the die and line it up and find which die goes to what. Made us lazy. I'd say lazy, but I feel like efficient is a better word. I think efficient is a good word. All right, I'm just gonna pop these. This is such a dainty image, and I love that. Again, fussy cutting on something like this is definitely for the birds. But I don't know, before I die cut that, hopefully you could see, this is even one that we had a lot of our design team and guests, I think, used it to create cards where it just created a background and they added their sentiment over the top. And that's kind of why it's laid out the way it is. So if you don't want to die cut it, you also have that option. Helping out all those little inner pieces there. Trying to be careful so I don't break any of those little delicate. Like I said, this one's such a pretty dainty, delicate image. All right, and then all those little ones. All right, I think I got, oh, missed one right there. And one more little right there. There's so many little intricate, look at just how gorgeous that is. All of the those little inner die cut pieces. I hope you can see all of them. Just, they're those little tiny details that add the wow factor, I feel like, to cutting an image like this out. It's my fave. I like it. All right, we're going to set this aside for now, along with that. And then let's get on to what we're going to do next for today's card. So my idea here involves the nested arches die and the around the shape arches stamp set. Now, I already have, this was left over from another card, so I always like to reuse them when I can. This was using, I think the second largest of these nested arch dies. Lee Murphy, as far as that question, I know Leah can answer. I know there's plans to, I don't know when it's gonna happen. We've been kind of reminding Kinnery about it, so it's somewhere in the offing. We'll get to there eventually. All right, so I think these would look so pretty tucked around in this arch. So something kind of along these lines. I haven't fully layered that in place. And then I've got a piece of our Ivory glitter cardstock that I want to pop behind. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, that's magical. Kind of what I was thinking. And then I want to use from these around the arch shape, I want to use this arch to make an inset. It's going to be hard to explain, but let's start working on it and then we'll see if it makes more sense once I get to what I kind of have in mind to layer over the top of that. So pull off this beautiful little printing here. And I'm going to grab a panel of white cardstock. And I'm going to use, so the two dies we're going to use are the two middle ones, leaving the biggest and the smallest ones. But for now, I'm just going to grab the bigger of those. I'm going to use that to help nestle this into place and make sure it's not that bad, but it is one of those slightly fiddly where there's room for the stamp to kind of flex and everything. And I really want it to fit on there and be nice square in that with what I have in mind. So making sure it lines up in there, pick that up there with that lid. And I can see that works. So I'm going to pull that die off for now. Hold that in place here, and then let me pull my detail block out because I didn't plan ahead for that. And then let's go ahead and get this stamped in detail black, and then we can die cut it out with what I have in mind. And hopefully it works like I'm picturing and imagining. All right, we're going to stamp that a couple times. I want to get that really nice, crisp impression there. I think that's actually, we're going to do one more. Just see a couple little spots that could be a little crisper. So I want to make sure I've got it. I think that's good. Now I'm like, did I do that more bold than I wanted? But I think that's okay. I think that'll work. Let me clean my stamp off. For the way we're going to trim this down, I think it's going to work just fine. Great sentiments in this set too. And I love the arch option on them as well. All right, move this out of the way. I love that, Louise. I'm so glad that you love those little tips and tricks. We love sharing those because they're just, when you find something new and you're excited about it and you want to share it, that's kind of how we feel about those. All right. So I'm going to cut this. I think I'm going to try and do both at the same time. Let's see if it works. We're going to tape this in place here, make really sure nothing moves. gonna be a nice close cut, so let's be really careful. And I'm gonna see if I can tape this one in place at the same time. So I'm just gonna have that arch frame with the sentiment on there, which is gonna fit, I hope, just perfectly. All right, my die cut plates. And I'll hop over and die cut this and be right back. Now let's see if that, oh, good. It cut perfect, it cut absolutely perfect. All right. Let me get this moved out of the way. And then I will save, like I told you, I like to save all these. So now I've got these other pieces that can be put to use on another project. So those out of the way, all those little tape pieces. Move that out of the way. Now I have these two little windows that we can use for another thing. And then let's pull this over. I still need to trim that glitter paper down. Here's what. Yay, look at that. Okay, we still have to glue it all down, but that's the picture. So you can see the glitter, it kind of makes an inset. You can see the florals over, and then we'll put an extra little something maybe there on the sentiment. So, okay, so now we just got to do some trimming and start assembling some things together here. Got my card base. I'm just gonna use a white one because it's not gonna show. And I'm gonna trim this just a little bit smaller. My card base because it just needs to cover behind that window. Not waste a scrap of that glitter cardstock, don't we know? So that's going to go on our card base. I'm going to go ahead and just get that adhered down now because that doesn't need anything crazy. I feel like this is like a magical enchanted garden or something that we're making. So much fun. And that glitter, this glitter cardstock. Originally, when I kind of had the idea, I was just going to put like ivory cardstock or soft pink. And then all of a sudden it was like the glitter came to mind and it was like, oh, yep, we're doing glitter. We are doing glitter. Right. So I think the best way to get dimension on here, I'm actually undecided. I feel like maybe just, I don't know. I don't even know, like the dimension's good, but I feel like just putting that directly on and maybe popping just this up with foam is really gonna be enough dimension. I think I'm just gonna do that. Like as crazy as that is, normally I would pop all that up with foam, but I feel like that's gonna get really fiddly. And I think that glitter really just shines with the florals directly on it. I think if you pop it up, you don't see that glitter as well. And I really want that just to show. I'm using my super strong adhesive because I'm gluing over glitter paper. And I feel like a stronger adhesive is kind of a good idea on that. Beth asked about if you stamp on vellum, does it ever completely dry or smear? My favorite choice, usually, Beth, is to heat emboss on vellum, because then you know it's dried and it heat embosses so beautifully. I think you have to use like stays on or something if you just want a plain. Otherwise, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna adhere that directly on. It's so weird, like not adding dimension to that part. You know what I mean? Feels like I'm breaking some rule or something, you know? The dimension rule. Okay. We're just going to use liquid glue on this, I think. So we're going to have to kind of use those clear block paper weights to hold this down once we get it on there. But I'm not going to crazy use a ridiculous amount of glue because I'm a little okay if some of it kind of floats free, but we're gonna want it somewhat in place since we have to get the that frame over the top. Hold of it without getting glue on my fingers. All right, and that, I think we're gonna commit there. I'm gonna do the same thing with this little guy. Like this one, I might just ever so slightly tuck under the bottom there. I think that's gonna be a good addition there. Let's, you know what, I might actually prefer that out. So I'm gonna, yeah, okay. We'll commit to that there, and then we'll just kind of hold all that in place long enough to let it dry. And while that dries a little bit to hold in place, I'm gonna do little foam strips on this. This is gonna be our main little pop of dimension, I think. I forgot that on these foam strips, if you peel off the backing, they curve really nicely right around a shape like this. Makes the work so much easier. Oops, throwing scissors around. That's a perfect length. Use up all those little pieces. All right, let's see if that's glued and it's holding it. That looks like that's holding. So especially now that I know where I'm gonna put stuff, I'm gonna kind of curl up some of those pieces now just to bring back that dimension a little bit. I want to keep what I can keep on there that's not going to interfere with this lovely little arch. Don't want it too flat, you know? All right, get all that while I get it while the getting's good. All right, and then I think just to make sure this holds down really well, I'm gonna also add a little bead of liquid glue on my foam strips there. Should be enough. Let's get that centered. For just a minute, we're gonna hold that down as well to hold that in place. All right, then this is where the next little bit of the sentiment, because I want to nestle in, snuggle it in. We were just talking about that in live. I want to snuggle a little extra sentiment down here. And that's actually holding place really good now. I'm torn between, hold on, maybe this is a mess now. There we go. I'm debating on that lovely little friend from our stamp set. And I kind of do like that scripty because the sentiment says life is a journey and love is what makes that journey worthwhile. And I feel like friend would be kind of a fitting finishing thing on there. But then in hindsight, I was looking at these and thinking about the colors of these best wishes sentiments, and they kind of work really well. So I also was debating on that little love you. But you know what though? Now that I'm seeing it on here with the line, I think I'm gonna go with the friend. I like that scripty feel. And I think that's gonna fit a little bit better. So I think I'm gonna stick with my original plan. I was undecided until right this minute. So Bye, Janine. I see you have to take off. Thank you for coming and joining us. We're so glad that you were able to make it for as much as you did. All right, now my next question. Do I heat emboss that in gold? Do I stamp it in color? Or would I just keep it black? I'm kind of curious about that. Either the Tidal Pond or the Mulberry. I'm gonna try, I've got scraps of cardstock, so if we don't like it, we can move on to a different one. I'm gonna try the Tidal Pond first. One's kind of calling out to me. Bye, Roxanne. I see you have to run too. So glad that you joined us. Nicole, thank you. I've made some I don't love, so how's that? I think we all have duds that we don't necessarily like. In a lot of ways, I feel like there's this magic of the lives that kind of adds. I'm going to do that also in that mulberry, just because I have enough scraps to do it. I feel like half the time I love my live cards better than most of the others, and I don't know. It's just like the magic of the live. It's all you guys. You guys all bring the magic. Just say that. So I'm going to do Mulberry Blush as well, and then we can decide which one we like better. Once they're die cut out, that might change too. This is a really scripty, delicate one, so I'm being really, really gentle on my stamping because it's not going to take much to get it on there. All right. Let's put that away. Move that out of the way. And those are both gonna, I mean, at first glance, I'm kind of liking that Tidal Pond. But we might get there and like that better. I'm not sure. These are gonna soften a little bit, just like ink blending. They're dye inks, so they're still gonna soften when they stamp. The stamp set is, Susan, for the sentiment, it's the same that I used for the hot foil. It's the Beautiful Day. It comes with that one. There's a couple other little great sentiments as well that coordinate well with that friend. And then, of course, for the scripty fonts, we've got a coordinating die for them as well. Because you know how much we love our coordinating sentiment dies. So let's get this lined up, die cut, and then we can pick which one we like best. Also, like I said, it's going to continue to soften and lighten up a little bit. Okay, there's one. Oh, that tucks in there so pretty. Oh my goodness. That just looks like it was made to fit there, don't you think? I don't think it matters which font. I think I'm going to like either of them equally well. But let's die cut them both. If I don't use one, I'll use it for another. That's really close. I'm going to be careful to make sure I get it lined up well. Oh, a larger Misty is going to be great. Mom full of joy. You're going to love that. Nicole, yay, that's perfect that you got to join today. Gotta love a down day, unexpected. All right, try it out. You know what, especially with that flower right there in the pink. Nope, it is totally the Tidal Pond is the choice. Because once I put the friend in there in this color, it just kind of disappears with the center of that flower. So now I know which one I'm going to use, so that makes that easy. I'm going to die cut real quick a couple extra layers. Just so that I can stack them up. Probably could have fit two in there, but can I get another one out of there? Let's see. You know what? I've got so many scraps. I don't need to be fiddly about those. Is that one big enough? That one is just barely big enough. So cut that one, and that should be enough to layer that up a little. Then we just need to do a little bit of bling on here. And I already am kind of seeing, I think I just want to add a a row of them up over there to fill that kind of open space a little. I feel like there's a little more of an opening than expected. So I feel like it needs a little something there to make that pop. I'm going to put this die away on that set just before I lose it because I know myself. See, and I feel exactly the same. Mary just said that adding that script friend just, it's like, it's pretty, but that right there just pulls it all together. I don't know why, but it does. So, so glad that I stuck with that one. And like I said, I was thinking about the other pre-done sticker sentiments, but once we got to this point, it was like, this was 100% the right decision. So sometimes you just gotta have options, right? You just don't know what's gonna. I'm gonna quickly stack these up and then we'll get that adhered on there. And then we'll go pick some bling to embellish. I forgot to look and see all of what's in stock, but I don't think we'll have too much trouble. I had a little fuzz in there that I had to get out. Okay. And because we're just adding that in the middle there, I think I'm just gonna need a liquid glue there. A moment of truth. We'll get it added. I like it a little tiny bit of an angle there. Oh, okay. Feels like that needs some magic music there to finish that one off. All right, let me go grab my little bling box and we'll pick what we want to add. Who am I kidding? I have two bling boxes. So my first thought that's popping into mind is some of the ombre ones. Nope, I think that's too much. I don't like that. So we could do clear, that would work. Champagne would work well. I think that's champagne. Yep. So those are the clear drops. Or can't go wrong with white or with peach fuzz would be really pretty. And of course, we could fully go on like the pink and aqua and peach fuzz. So we could do those three colors. That might be the idea. Making that better. Or iridescent. Sparkling champagne pearls would be really pretty. Or even with that hot foiling. Nope, nope, that's not it. That made that easy. Sometimes you just got to hold it up and then you're like, nope, 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 same. All right, narrowed it down. Kind of, I think my favorite idea right now is going with the colors that I've got up there. But my next, I really do like the iridescent. I think those would be pretty with that glitter, but I think adding the little pop of color is kind of my first thought. And even just the peach alone, but I'm gonna pull them all out and we'll see if we like a combo or we just want to stick with just the peach fuzz. That's why I have multiple little trays. Probably dumping too many of these out, but options don't hurt anything. Okay, let's see. Also having to toy with. I don't think so, but I just want to ponder the thought. Do I want to add any? Actually, you know what? That's not too bad. Adding a little bit of those onto, not that big one. I actually kind of like that on there. We might do that. A little bit of the on some of those spots. Like that's kind of a fun little touch. And while it's pretty on those flowers, I don't really want to cover up those pretty centers. So I think I might just tuck those on there. And let's pretend we're just going to go with only the peach fuzz, which might kind of fit as I'm getting to this spot. I think I'm liking the elegance of just that neutral, a bit of bling up there. I think that really is going to be. Let me try something else too, because I'm kind of wondering if, yep, I think that's a good little touch too. A couple on each side of the sentiment just to make that pop. You can never have, especially with all this glitter on here. Is it really possible to have too much bling? I don't really think so. I think I like that. Just see. Do we like it better? Do we like the pink ones better there? It's a very subtle difference, but can't quite decide. I'll just take a look at it that way and see the full thing. You know what? I kind of do like that. So we really are using all of those colors on there at some spot or another. Let me see, those are peach fuzz. Goes back in the right spot. That helps kind of bring that pink element into there. Yep, I think we're going to do that. So we are using all three of those, just not all in the one spot like I thought. They're still going to come into play, just a little bit different. Let's put these away and then I'll adhere those down. And then we'll be finished with this card. It kind of just makes that friend kind of pop a little more, adding the bling down there, doesn't it? Let me set that. Okay, glue. And the final little adhere down of these. Add all of these on. Too many of them, so this is pretty quick. All the little leaf ones. And then spin around so I can get to these. That's where I get quiet because I want to focus on getting them in on the right spots so that they're even and matched up where I want them to be. All right, I think that does it. This came together just kind of how I was hoping. And I haven't had that much chance to use these arch sets either. When they released, they sold out really quick and took a little while to restock. So that was super fun for me to be able to put those to use on there. Ah, this is one of my favorite cards ever, you guys. I'm so excited with how this came out. I hope you enjoyed. It's just like the hot foiling, the glitter, the bling, the colors, I kind of have a thing for arches. So thanks for bearing with me as I kind of tried something new. And I also really love just putting a floral with that sentiment popped up over the top. Like it kind of covers up some of the flowers, but it still really works. And I thought we would be scrambling to get done, and it looks like we're going to finish right on time, maybe even a couple minutes early. So I'm going to switch my camera around and take a minute to let Leah pick a winner so we can announce that and say a quick goodbye to you all. And I really hope that we get a chance to see some of you on Friday in our craft along. I know I've seen lots on there that were already joining or thinking about it. So, and have the fun, just like for us sitting and showing you our finished card at the end and how fun that is when something comes out. We also really love getting to see your cards on Friday. So I know some of you don't want to put cameras on, and that is 100% okay. But even right at the end, if you just want to put it on for a minute, we love when everyone holds their card up and we get to see, especially when everyone mixes and matches and uses different sets than we used. It gives us lots of great ideas too. All right, and I see that Leah has picked a winner, so congratulations to Susan Salberg, if I said your name right, hopefully. You're today's $15 gift card winner, so congratulations. Thank you for joining us. The info is all in that comment you're tagged on and how to claim your prize. but just email Leah at Pinkfresh Studio. Her name has no H on the end. That's just Lea. Give her 2 to 3 business days to get back to you, and she'll reply on that. And this should be our, hold on. Nope, we do have YouTube Live this week. I believe it is Kathleen, and I'm pretty sure that she's going to be using one of our newest scrapbook collections that she actually collaborated on designing. So I hope I see you in the comments there. We'll have our usual giveaway. She always has great ideas that can be incorporated into card making, and those new collections are really beautiful. So hopefully I see you then. And then next week should be Leah and I both for the card live with a sneak peek of our February release. So hopefully we see you then for that. We usually have kind of a fun, different, bigger giveaway. We use some stuff from the new release and both create 2 different things. So, but yeah, same time, same place for YouTube Live. And then next week, I hope you'll all join us for that. And real quick before I go, I'm just gonna, sometimes the different lighting, you can see the card a little different. So I'm just gonna kind of hold this up so you can see that finished card again. And I'll get photos and get this posted here very soon. So you can see all the finishing touches. But again, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the chat Thursday if you're able to make that. Bye for now.